Designed by broadcast sponsor.
Does it feel like the price of everything is going up, up, up? We can't control the price of gas or groceries, but at Royal Buick GMC, we never add market adjustments, even while other dealers add fees because inventory is limited. At Royal Buick GMC, you can rest assured you won't pay market adjustments, and we stand by our transparent online pricing. Royal Buick GMC, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $529 doc fee. Royal Buick GMC, in the Auto Mall and at RoyalTucson.com.
The Window Depot is proud to sponsor the first look at today's game and would like to invite Arizona Wildcat fans to visit one of their Tucson warehouses. The Window Depot provides over 1,000 in-stock vinyl windows, interior and exterior doors, plus granite and quartz countertops, and a huge selection of custom cabinetry, all at the lowest prices in town. Consider the Window Depot your MVP when it comes to your home improvement needs. Stores are open Monday through Saturday, or order online at thewindowdepot.com. The Window Depot, more than a window store.
At Nova Home Loans, we believe everyone deserves the opportunity to enjoy the independence that comes with home ownership. Whether you're a first-time home buyer who needs down payment assistance, have less than perfect credit, or looking to refinance, Nova has a variety of home loan programs for your unique situation. Visit novahomeloans.com or call 800-955-9125 to learn more. Not a commitment to lend or extend credit. Rates and available loan programs are subject to change without notice. NMLS 3087, BK 0902429, Equal Housing Opportunity.
Think of waking up with energy, standing tall and feeling free. Think First Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
For over 30 years, Tucson has been putting its trust in First Chiropractic for auto and on-the-job injuries. They're locally owned and a proud sponsor of the U of A radio broadcasts. So if you've been injured, make the right choice. First
Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
As a homeowner, you've probably seen some pretty bad plumbing problems.
Yeah, I've seen a few.
We've seen them all.
All of them?
Ram's Plumbing kept entire buildings flowing. Businesses since 1983.
Wow, so whatever happens to my house...
We've seen it before, and we have the solution. Locally owned and operated, Ram Plumbing is Tucson's most trusted plumber. Our team of licensed professionals can fix anything your home can dish out. When your plumbing's in trouble, call Ram on the double. Online at bestplumbertucson.com.
Do you often worry you left the garage door open? With a LiftMaster garage door opener powered by MyQ, you'll never worry again. You can control, secure, and monitor your garage from your smartphone anytime from anywhere through the MyQ app. As an authorized LiftMaster dealer, we have smart openers designed for your needs, including belt drive motors for ultra-quiet operation, integrated camera for live video streaming, and battery backup that lets you in when the power is out.
Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates is your authorized local LiftMaster dealer. Visit KaiserDoor.com for more information.
Do you have heart failure and often hear,
"Those stomach issues ruined your birthday"?
"You're too tired to play catch, Grandpa."
Sweetie, you haven't touched your tools since the carpal tunnel syndrome diagnosis.
If these seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, talk to your cardiologist and ask about transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy, or ATTR-CM, a rare and underdiagnosed disease that gets worse over time. Learn more at connecttoyourheart.com. That's connecttoyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
The Meridian Wealth Management Postgame Show continues on the home of Arizona men's basketball. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Jaden Bradley with the ball for the Wildcats. Feed it high right. It goes to Love. Cross court over to Lewis. Looking inside. Dump it off left corner. Bradley open for three. Got it!
97-59, Arizona beats Southern at McHale Center. Wildcats move to 3-0 on the season. Didn't look like it was going to be a game where the Wildcats would get to 100 points initially, but they did so. I don't know what Tommy Lloyd said at halftime, but apparently he woke up his team because the first half of this game kind of looked a lot like what you would expect a game after a major road contest, and you come home to an inferior opponent, and it just kind of was like blah through that first half. Not a lot of what I would call great team basketball, just, a few guys kind of making plays when you needed to have a play made, but there really wasn't much cohesiveness to it at all.
Yeah.
Second half, though, they start with a 10-zip run, kind of going back to the bread and butter, getting the ball inside, getting Numar Ballo going, and Caleb Love gets a 4-point play. How often do you get to see that in college basketball? And after that, the Jets were on, and the Wildcats cruised to a 38-point victory.
I think there's that like high school mentality, right, where you're the best player in the county until all of a sudden you got to match up with the guy 2 cities over, two little burgs over, should I say. And then it's a real battle, and every single possession is tough. But the next game up, it's a sleepwalk, right? Next game up after that, you don't have to put too much effort into it. I think that mentality is hard to shake sometimes. And coming back from Durham, DK, every team, when they come up against a team that has that number 3 or anything close to that ranking, they're going to give you their best shot. And you said it, that first 10 minutes or so seemed like very disjointed, way too many sloppy turnovers. But once everybody got on the same page, I don't think there was any doubt that Arizona is a 25, 30-point better team than Southern is. But you got to give credit, to the Jaguars. They came out and they had a purpose in that first 5-10 minutes. They wanted to win this game. They came out to win this game, not just to pick up a check.
36 free throws for Arizona. Wow, that is a very high number for a college basketball game. The Jaguars committed 27 fouls in this game, and that was kind of, again, we talked about how the Wildcats had the height advantage going into this, and so clearly Southern wasn't really going to let them have easy baskets down low, and as a result, that you go to the line 36 times, Wildcats, though, made 28, and that was very key in this ball game. We want to hear from you. 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. We are streaming video on a number of platforms. We are on YouTube. We are on Facebook. We are on Twitch, Wildcats Radio, at Wildcats Radio 1290 on all of those platforms. We are also streaming on Twitter. That is at Wildcats 1290. So you can watch the show on any of those platforms. You can also listen to us. Our website is at Wildcats Radio 1290. Also via Alexa. Just say, Alexa, turn on Wildcats 1290. She'll put us right on for you there in your living room. And also you can reach us on the iHeartRadio app. Plenty coming up for you on the next few hours of this show. We'll head back down to McHale Center. We'll hear from Tommy Lloyd. I believe it was Philip Budavicinen.
I hope so.
And Pelle Larson speaking after the ball game tonight. So we will hear from those two young men. Philly B, 15 minutes in this game. Had 8 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 of those assists I really love.
Let's go back to that point because, I think a lot of people just misrepresent him as a three-point shooter. But what I've liked about his game from day one when he stepped on campus is that for that size, 6'10", 6'9", every bit of 6'9", 6'10", his style is not post. He doesn't have a post style. He has a face-up style where he likes to put a couple moves on the original defender, the initial defender, and then he has his eyes up at all times. And I saw this as a freshman. Those narrow lanes to get the ball through might have closed a little bit faster than his brain could really register that. When he was younger, he got some turnovers, but you can see it. That time when he drove past the initial defender, skip jump past the second, and did a little dump pass down to KJ for the reverse layup. That style of play is always going to be there in an open Tommy Lloyd offense. And so I like Philip Budavicinen because, number one, he's tall enough to be able to get that shot off, and he clearly has a really good stroke on the outside shot, and that can set up, if you're a willing driver and passer, the next step for him, clearly, is being able to be a threat to finish those drives, as opposed to he's going to be played for the pass, because I've yet to see him drive past the first line of defense and finish at the rim. And with that size, if he could develop that, then he's that's a very good college basketball player. He's just kind of lost in the fold because there's so many other good guys.
Yeah, 2 of those assists resulted in dunks. There was the one in the first half where what I liked about that particular play where he fed Kishad for the dunk was he kind of pump faked a couple times to get the defensive guy off of his feet, and then, like you said, drove by him, found Kishad down low for the dunk, and then the one in the second half where he found KJ, the other KJ Lewis, for a dunk as well. driving to the basket. So nice job by Filip Budavicinen tonight, as you had 6 players score in double figures for Arizona. And again, back to, better minutes for KJ had 20 off the bench. Krivas had 22 off the bench. Morauskas got 15, and Budavicinen both got 15, and Jaden Bradley got 18 minutes off the bench in this game. So the kind of contest where, again, like we said before coming in, that you have an opportunity to get the younger guys some time
10
on the floor.
Players played 15 or more minutes.
Yeah, that's pretty good. You cannot argue at all with that. 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program.
Really quick, the best part, DK, about the fact that all 10 guys got 15 or more minutes is that Southern was running a three-quarter court trap down 30 with 5 minutes to go. I mean, they were not letting up. They were trying to make sure, and especially that coach obviously was getting some of the bench players maybe involved in running that kind of defense in a real live game situation. So those points, any points scored towards the end, personnel or not, was not against a team that was laying back and just letting Arizona do whatever they wanted to. The ball handlers especially had to work to get into offense because they were running that trap right up towards the end.
And the two guys we picked as pests didn't even really play much of a factor in this game. Brandon Davis was my pest, and he only scored 3 points. He had been the 3-point shooter, but he only took 2 in this game. Went 1 of 5 from the floor, finished with 3 points. And I believe your guy was Tajayan Dumasi.
Yeah.
And he didn't make a single shot either. He was 0 for 4. Point guard, didn't have a single assist and fouled out.
Yeah, and he didn't have a steal. He came in leading the team in steals, so we thought he might be a little disruptive. But
no.
Yeah, I think that's a scout. I think that obviously the coaching staff on the other side, on Arizona's side, we're looking at those two guys, looking at the 2 top scorers, and just making sure no matter what, that those guys weren't going to get off and get 25, 30 each. Because that's how the scout works, right? You're going to make it as difficult as possible on the top scorers. So I think overall, we'll have to go back and look at the film of that first 10 minutes. But the last 30 minutes, DK, is pretty custom. I think fans out there for Arizona Wildcat fans should get accustomed to that level of defense. 59 points for Southern tonight.
Yeah, that was the second half just was really what we've become used to seeing from this Arizona Wildcats club. And Terrion Joseph, though, for Southern, he kind of put up what he had been putting up so far this season, making 4 out of 12 threes and scoring 22 points.
He took a third of their field goal attempts.
Yeah.
So they took 63 total as a team, and he had 20 of those.
Yeah, exactly. All right, we want to hear from you on this one, 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. Let's get a break in here. We'll come back, have much more for you. We'll review our keys to the game, our best bets, all that. We'll have our Window Depot glass cleaner. We'll announce that for tonight and hear from the players and the head coach as well. Wildcats beat the Southern Jaguars 97-59. We're J.W. Madden. I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
This hour of the Meridian Wealth Management Postgame Show is brought to you by Advanced Auto Care, Crest Insurance Group, Desert Diamond Casinos, First Chiropractic, Frog Inn Firkin, Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates, Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating and Plumbing, the Polston Results Team with Keller Williams, Southern Arizona, Royal GMC Buick and Cadillac, Royal Kia, Royal Jaguar Land Rover, the Window Depot, Blue Whale Car Wash, Caruso's Italian Restaurant, Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing, The Diamond Store, Goldberg and Osborne, Goodfellas AC. KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. We have the Arizona Wildcats covered on game day like no one else. We are Wildcats Radio 1290.
Driving the lane, dunking on the competition, and playing as a team. These are things we'll see this season watching our Wildcats play basketball. These happen to be the things you'll also find when you buy your next vehicle from O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Arizona men's basketball. Wildcats Radio 1290. Wildcats fans, how did today's Keys to the Game go for the Wildcats? Keys to the Game are brought to you by the Royal Automotive Group. Royal Automotive, the dealership that is different.
97-59, the final score. Arizona knocks off the Southern Jaguars. Number 3 ranked Arizona Wildcats get the win tonight. 6 players in double figures for Arizona. Kashad Johnson led the way with 17 points. Had some nice dunks.
6 for 8.
Yeah, 6 of 8. It's pretty good. Talked about Philly B feeding him on a dunk. There was one in the first half where Caleb Love fed him for a dunk as well. So he's getting fed down there for sure. 17 points, 6 rebounds tonight for Kashad Johnson. Let's take a look at what we thought. We want to hear from you. 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program here. What were your thoughts on tonight's game? Let's take a look at what we thought the keys were for an Arizona victory tonight.
You want me to go first or you want to go first?
You can go first.
All right, here's my keys from earlier.
Yeah.
Number 1, I would love to see lockdown perimeter defense. I think you got to hold these guys under 30% from the three-point line. So you talked about all these outrageous numbers they're shooting.
Yeah.
That's what they're going to try to do. They're going to try to come into McHale, put them up early and often. The only way they stay in this game is to be, shoot some outrageous percentage and high volume from 3. Number 2, also guard-wise, since they're going to be playing a lot of guards, all 5, the 5 guys that play the most minutes for this team from Southern, they're all guards. So you got to turn the pressure up. They average about 12.5 turnovers through the early season. I'd like to see 18 plus, maybe even 20, because they're going to really be trying to make things happen. On-ball defense for Arizona is outrageous. And number 3, I want to see – we'll see how much small ball Coach Lloyd plays today, but I definitely want to see some of the guys who maybe didn't get a chance to play over there in Durham get some minutes. You got to get out there and get on film and see how they're going to be a lot of different lineups, rotating different players together. But, guys like Morauskas and those other guys who didn't get a chance to play, just see some of those other guys get on the court. Not garbage time. That's not what I'm talking about, David Kelly. But I want to see some of those other guys get their feet wet and get ready to play big-time college basketball.
All right. Not bad. Not bad there. In terms of the turnovers, they
took very good care of the ball.
They did. The Wildcats only got 15 turnovers in that game.
Yeah, I mean, Southern was really, really, really good at taking care of the ball. I gotta say that. There's one thing, they came in here, I wasn't really sure because big environment, all that stuff, but they came to play, David Kelly.
And on the Wildcats side, they did not. 23 is a little bit higher than you would like for this offense, and a lot of that was in the first half.
Sloppy.
They shot
sloppy play.
38% in the first half to 65%. In the second half for Arizona. I mean, they made 22 field goals in the second half. They took 24 shots in the first half.
They had 14 first half turnovers and 23 for the game. So 9 in the second half.
And that's twice now in games. If you go back to the one exhibition game where they've just not gotten out of the gate very well, taking care of the basketball.
I think that's just taking the opponent seriously from the start, right? I think crisp passing, being purposeful with finding the open man, especially if you're talking about guys getting the passing lanes, ball handling mistakes, passing the ball to where guys aren't, all those things. That all comes with just being laser focused and dialed into what's happening in front of you, right? And just, you worry about any team that comes off a trip to Durham, that whole letdown, potentially not paying as high attention as you should to your next opponent. That might have been the case there in the first 5 or 10 minutes. They cleaned it up. But you definitely got to make sure that you come out and take every opponent seriously, especially at home. You just got to be as solid, keep it simple, be solid with the ball.
And they took about 10 more threes than we thought they would. They took 29 in this game, and they did not shoot it well. You had said 30% would be kind of the range, and they only finished 21, so way below their average.
I think those
first 2 games,
the numbers, the attempts went way up as they started getting further and further behind, right? Because you got to shoot yourself back into it.
All right, let's hear my keys.
All right, your keys are as such. I said as such.
Yeah, in that vein, I think one of my keys is I want to see the continued development of Motias Krivas. Like I was saying, I think he's a guy that I like when he's on the floor. I'm very comfortable when he's on the floor at both ends. I would like to maybe see if he could get his first double-double tonight. How about a double-double from Motias Krivas? Maybe about 12 points and 10 rebounds from the big man out there for his first opportunity, third game of the season. And I agree with you in terms of the shooting percentage. I was going, you went a little bit lower than I was going to go with the 3-point shooting. I was like, if you can keep them at 40, I think that would be pretty good considering how well that they've shot it. So I was saying 40%. We'll see how that turns out at the end of the game, 30%. Versus 40% in this ball game. And I think for Arizona, you want to continue to see this offense take care of the basketball, not turn it over, keep it under that number of 12 turnovers moving forward for Arizona. I think that would be a good place to be in this particular ball game. And as always, keep everybody healthy. That's my main key. Pretty much every ball game. Keep everybody healthy. Moving forward. Well, there was a little bit of a scare when Pelle Larsson got smacked in the neck, or I thought he got. At first, I thought he might have broken his nose because he looked like
he got an elbow, right?
Yeah. So that was a little bit scary. My guy Motias Krivas, 12-6.
Yeah.
Not bad. 12-10 was the call, but 12-6. I don't know. I mean, just looking through these first, do you think he's going to be a big rebound type of guy? I mean,
I think that there are 10 good rebounders on this team, and that's what you're looking at. I think you're looking at a lot of guys with length and ball hawking skills. So being 7'2" puts him at an advantage because he's closer to the rim. So therefore, if he's around the rim, he's going to get a lot more rebounds. It's hard to get a rebound when you're playing on the court with Keyshawn Johnson, David Kelly, and like fill in the blank there.
Paulius got 10 in 15 minutes.
Paulius is a beast. I don't think people really know how strong that guy is. That's what I said from the start, is when you can mix a guy who will go in there fearlessly, box out, get in traffic, and get rebounds in traffic with a feathery outside touch. We don't know really how much time he's going to play in the rotation this year. He didn't even play in Durham. However, on paper and all the skill sets that he brings to this team, when he gets comfortable in the American game, I mean, that's a scary dude right there.
All right, and the other thing was the turnovers. They blew way past that a little bit too far by 11, but that's okay. It's a 97-59 win for Arizona. 520-848-1290. Those are our keys to the game.
Wildcats fans, that's a look at your keys to the game. They're brought to you by the Royal Automotive Group. Royal Automotive, the dealership that is different.
520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. Let's take our first call of the night and talk to Doug. You're on the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day Postgame Show, Wildcats Radio 1290.
Hey, good to be back with you guys. Bear down. Thank you for taking the call.
Bear down.
Good analysis, too. Really enjoying it. Yeah, it's pretty nice to know that if you start off, kind of shaky, down 17-12 early, you can just flip the switch and go on an 85-42 run the rest of the way. And
right.
Exert. No, I mean, not every team in America is going to be able to do that. So for all the people that were freaking out, at that point, just have some faith. It's a long game. It's 40 minutes. And there's human nature involved. I mean, when I was getting ready to watch that Duke game on Friday night, I mean, I had everything set. I had my drink, my seat, my right clothing, and my food was out of the way. I had fed the pets. Like, everything was like
no distractions.
Right. And I was locked in. And then tonight I'm like, I got home late. I took a shower. Like, I got to throw on some U of A stuff, and got in like at 6:01. I had the TV on.
Right.
And so, I mean, the same kind of human nature is going to apply to players to some extent. I know that they're going to prepare a lot harder than I did, but
that's a great point, though, Doug. Like, how can we as lifetime fans expect the team to come out laser focused from the start if we're just barely getting into our chair with our drink, like, already 2 minutes into the game, right?
I mean, I admit it. That's me, and a lot of fans who have season tickets didn't even show up tonight. I don't know what's up with that. You can't ask for a better time than 6 p.m., right? I mean, that's like the sweet spot for a home game of any sport.
Yeah, well, considering that Friday night we don't start till 9.
Yeah.
I know. So on that one, I just want to tell people, bring a sleeping bag because you're going to stay overnight at McHale.
And get up to go to football the next day.
They're going to take the gymnastics mats out, put them on the court, and everyone can have a sleepover, and then head over to tailgating Saturday morning.
That would be cool.
Right? Wouldn't that be sweet? They can show some like movies on the big screen to let everyone go to bed or something. I don't know, just being goofy. But as far as like the free throws, that's some people point to that as a weakness, like, oh, well, you got all your points at the free throw line, but it's only because your opponent is slapping and hacking and blocking and doing all these things to obstruct your path to the basket that gets you to the line and gets you to the double bonus so early. It's a sign of a team that's enforcing its will on the opponent.
If you play a five-guard lineup and you go up against this Arizona Wildcat team, I mean, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do. How many guys, Doug, could catch the ball mid-post and turn and do damage against that Southern team? I mean, I don't know about any other fans out there, but I think when you're talking about a smaller team that's running three-quarter court trap and running five guards, playing most of the minutes and 4-out, 5-out sets, I just expect there to be mismatches and switches and all kinds of, Ballo gets under the rim with the 6'3" guy. What does that guy do? You gotta grab, you gotta foul.
Right. So it's either a bucket or it's going to the line. And so, I mean, if it's a little ugly at times this year, ugly in terms of like offensive flow, because somebody's fouling us, hey, don't knock it. I mean, you're still accumulating points, and you're hopefully getting some players in foul trouble. So I think it's a great part of our game. I don't have any concerns about that at all. I see it as a value add for the team to be drawing fouls like that. You know what I mean? We also have great rim protection, and it's just great to see that if we do get beat off the perimeter, that we've got Ballo and Krivas and Larson's in there. Borovichinen did some nice things just to like erase some shots around the rim. And Keyshawn Johnson, of course, is just a monster tonight.
Yeah.
On both ends. And so that's just reassuring. I mean, I do feel like our guards are, way better prepared to defend the perimeter this year than the last year. But when they do get beat, just knowing that there's all these guys there to box out and get the board, that's huge, just to preserve possessions. And I mean, gosh, when you don't let a team score for the last 11-some minutes of the first half, it doesn't even matter if you're scoring at a great pace because you're just pulling away, That was pretty exciting to see. I just love that. As far as individual players, go ahead. Yeah.
I was going to say, I got a good stat for you. Ready? You're probably going to bring him up, but KJ Lewis. What if I told you guys, KJ Lewis has played 50 minutes this season, and he has yet to turn the ball over once?
Wow. Oh, my gosh. I'm knocking on wood.
50 minutes, and including
solid.
15 in Durham, and he has not had a turnover yet on the season. I mean, we all expected the energy and effort. We expected the energy and the effort defensively, but as far as like his ability to handle the ball and make the correct decisions as a freshman, just super impressive.
That's awesome. Wasn't it Boswell last year who had some crazy assist-to-turnover ratio?
Oh, yeah, always.
He had 3 tonight,
half of the year, probably the whole year.
He had 3 tonight, which I think he had 2 coming in.
I just loved the energy spark that Caleb Love and KJ Lewis bring us. Yes, some people might feel like Caleb could be a little wild at times, but you want someone who's going to play hard and bring the energy. So, attacking and, even just if he is pulling up for a shot here or there that you might cringe a little bit, it's still putting pressure on a defense that if you're just going to swing the ball around 9 times, that you're not going to put the defense in those tough positions. So I like seeing that as long as it's still within the flow of the offense, not, hero ball.
You look at it, he has 6 attempts tonight, Doug. So, I think you bring Caleb Love in for the game at Pauley. You bring Caleb Love in for the game in Durham, right? When the offense is kind of bogged down, you need a guy to create and take that big shot under duress. And I don't think that was tonight. And so the real thing that I take away from that is Caleb Love is not hunting anything. He's not trying to put a resume on for scouts out there. People have seen him score. Mm-hmm. People have seen what he can do with the ball in his hands. Only 6 field goal attempts in a game like this in 26 minutes. That's, 28? DK was his high, 28 field goal attempts.
28, right.
Right. And so if you see what I'm looking at is a guy who they brought in, or he chose to come here, obviously, after the Michigan thing, to play and to make big shots at the end of shot clock, or really when the team is not running offense very well. And that just wasn't the situation tonight, right?
That's a great stat, J-Dub. Thanks for sharing that. I didn't even pick up on that tonight, but yeah, it's one of these things where you just don't want any one player, any of the players, to just get a big head and think like, oh, I had a great game. I'm getting a lot of headlines. Now let me just keep making it about me, you know. And as long as they stay grounded and play as a team, this team's going to be great. I definitely agree with what you're saying about Morauskas. I think he's really going to be dangerous when he gets comfortable with the American game. He definitely needs to be stronger with the ball in his hands. He was getting it slapped away a lot, got his shot blocked. But yeah, I think he's going to really be a smooth player. I don't know if you have a comp for a former player for him, but
Mark Madsen.
I have to think about that. Mark Madsen, really?
No, I just
I don't know where you got that from. But,
no, I think Morauskas is clearly a very strong, very purposeful paint player, and yet when you mix in the skill, I know what you're saying. There was a couple of times, I think of one time in particular, where he got past the first line of defense and kind of floated a pass that got easily picked off. And I think that's overthinking the game and really not understanding the closeouts because it's happening all so fast. And if you're thinking about what you should be doing as opposed to reacting to what the defense is doing, you've kind of already lost there. And that's just an experience thing. That's just game time under your belt and understanding the feel of the flow of how fast it is out there. So I think the 3 turnovers, but you look at 10 rebounds in 15 minutes. I mean, 10 rebounds in 15 minutes, that's hard to do.
That's great. That's awesome. Yeah, and playing against Southern is going to be different than playing against some other teams.
Sure.
Southern is trying to be scrappy and disruptive, and so that's going to be a little bit of a harder, ask for him to be, solid with the ball on every possession. But I'm very high on him. I'm high on this whole team. There's a lot to like. So Friday night, I encourage people to get out there. There's tickets available for people that think that Arizona basketball is out of reach or out of the budget. There are affordable tickets available, so I encourage people to get down there. It's a great time. One quickie on football, if I may.
Yeah.
I'll make it fast, but I'm seeing a lot of chatter about Jed Fish and retaining him. People are freaking out, like, oh gosh, with this success, is he going to be a hot commodity? And I just want people to just slow down, breathe, and enjoy the ride. Leave that stuff up to the administrators. I'm sure they're on the case, and the donors. And just enjoy what we're doing right now. And I feel bad for people that can't just enjoy what's happening and always have to find something to be like upset or scared about.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just wanted to put in my 2 cents on that one. I'm just going to enjoy this season.
That's what it's about, Doug, enjoying it, because we have not had a football season like this in a while.
Yeah, it's like you spend 8 years complaining that there isn't a good product on the field, and then the 1 year there is, you complain that the coach might leave.
I know, right? Yeah. But, if I were him, obviously I wouldn't because, if you go to the SEC or the Big Ten, you're going to try to compete to finish, 6th every year?
I think it's about
in the Big 12. In the Big 12, you got a great shot to win title.
If he's chasing money, then he'll leave.
Right.
If he's chasing a chance to create a legacy, then he'll stay.
How about taking pride in something that you're creating from nothing, right? Like, I come from an art background. You take a white piece of paper and you want to draw a pretty picture of a tree, David Kelly. The person who draws 2 lines and crumples the paper up and throws it away because it sucks, well, guess what? You spend another 5 minutes and put a few more lines on there and it might be great. And then after a while, you start taking great pride in what shows up on that blank piece of paper. And Jed Fish very well could be, look how far he's come. And look where they are now relative to the first day on Zoom that he assumed the position of this job. So we don't know. We don't know what's going on. But for the fact that the bulk of the fan base wants to focus on the what ifs of, oh, great, 5 straight wins over, a lot of ranked opponents, he's going to go somewhere else because who would want to stay here? Like, why that would be the focus of people's attention? That's just a personal choice. You guys need to go outside, run around the grass a little bit, look up and admire the clouds or something, because that's something that's wrong with people in general. Focus on what's actually happening in front of you, not what ifs of some horrible rain cloud on the horizon.
I'm glad we're on the same page with that. Yeah, it sounds like we're on the same page. My analogy was if you've ever seen pictures of the St. Louis Arch when it was partially built, or the Eiffel Tower when it was only 1/3. If you were the designer for that or on the construction crew, would you want to just walk away from it, or do you want to really see it through and get it built the whole way? And so I've got faith that he wants to do that. This is his baby now. He could go inherit some other program that's already pretty well established, but man, imagine what it'll feel like if he goes to the Big 12 and starts, winning titles and making college football playoffs. And Because isn't the playoff expanding to 12 teams?
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's going to be opportunities for us to get into the playoffs in the Big 12, where it's going to be that much harder if he wants to try his hand at Texas A&M or somewhere like that. So the point is, just enjoy it. We've got 2 games in the regular season. Just go have fun, and buy a ticket.
There's one way to convince coaches like Coach Lloyd and Coach Fish that this is the place to be. You know how that is? Go to the damn games, fans.
Exactly.
Right. Exactly. And by the way, there's 3 games that you can buy a ticket for. So I encourage everyone to buy their tickets for the November 25th game up there, too, because I think we're going to have a really good turnout of red and blue up in what I call North Guadalupe.
Let's hope so.
All right.
Thanks, Doug.
I'll leave it at that. Thank you, guys. Have a great night.
You. Absolutely.
Bear down.
Always welcome to call Doug. All right, that opens up a line, 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. Let's get a break in. Much more coming up. Wildcats beat Southern 97-59, 3-0 now on the season. It is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day postgame show with J.W. Madden. I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
This is the Meridian Wealth Management postgame show on the home of Arizona men's basketball. Wildcats Radio 1290. What do you mean, trenchless?
Means no trench.
1290.
You notice the way, again, that players like Love out on the floor, they're just so relaxed and focused. And when they do something wrong, there's non-emotional. When they score, non-emotional. They get back and start playing defense again. I remember last year there were so many times in Arizona, there was so much kind of what I would call an unnecessary emotion and energy during the game. This team is locked in. You know, they stay focused, they stay connected to each other, and no one tries to outshine the other player. They just play together, and the more they do that, the better they're going to get down the stretch.
Another turnover forced by the Wildcats. Love trying to kick it ahead, tapped around. It's Lewis catching the rebound and putting it in.
Unnecessary emotion last year.
Yeah, I think Coach might have been talking some trash about Kerr Kriisa a little bit.
You think?
Right there. Yeah. I mean, look, I love Kerr Kriisa. I mean, I loved it when he would make a three, turn towards the student section and, throw his hands in the air and really be the hype man. And that being said, I think there's a time and place for that. And if you're coming with that energy every single play down the court, look at Durham, right? I mean, how much emotion did you see after any big play? It was just a been there, done that. We're supposed to be doing this type of thing, David Kelly. And I don't know. I mean, Pelle Larsson, I think, is the best example of that. I don't think I've ever seen Pelle get high or low. And as a group, when you can rely upon everybody just being locked in and focused outside of those first 5 minutes, 10 minutes, it was 19-19 at one point in this game. 19-19. Yeah. So that's a 68 run. 30-68 was the run after it was 19-19. So might have been a little bit iffy there at the start, but again, I like a team to a man who's just there to take care of business. And when you have so many seniors, they're not trying to figure things out. A lot of guys on this team, we talked pregame about this, how many of the seniors were the ones who closed out that game in Durham. It's really about just being locked in as a group, knowing that you're supposed to be that good. And that reactionary stuff and all the highs that you see, although it's fun in times for the fans, and obviously fans love Kerr. I love Kerr. I think that this team and the energy that they're bringing, just more of a we're here on a business trip type of thing. I just think that's the way to go about it when you have the biggest goal at the end of the day, which is to try to compete for a national championship.
Caleb Love and Pelle Larsson in the first half combined to go 0 for 7 from the field, 0 for 5 from 3. In the second half, they were 5 for 6 combined from the field. So they turned it up. So did those two guys. 4 points in the first half for those two guys combined, 16 in the second half.
What you're saying is that after that game in Durham, Caleb Love took Pelle Larsson out to one of his favorite barbecue joints. And
Probably.
They were out all night long.
Yeah, they maybe ate a little too much barbecue.
Could be.
In the first half. All right, time for tonight's Window Depot Glass Cleaner of the Game. And who else could get this but Paulius Morauskas? 10 boards in 15 minutes of play tonight. Paulius Morauskas is your Window Depot Glass Cleaner of the Game. Window Depot is the lowest prices, has I should say, the lowest prices, the biggest inventory. Shop thewindowdepot.com. Congratulations, Paulius.
That's the first double-digit rebounder, if I'm not mistaken, because I don't remember there being a double-digit.
No.
Morgan State, the high rebounder was Keshad with 7, and Borvichinen with 7. In the Duke game, Keshad and Boswell both had 8. So, yeah, first double-digit rebounder of the season. He only played 15 minutes.
520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. The Wildcats tonight, again, a 20-plus assist night, sharing the basketball. Caleb had 5 in the game. KJ Lewis had 5 in the game, and Kylan had 4. So those were your leaders in that respect. There was that one sequence in the second half that was really pretty. There was Caleb Love to KJ Lewis to Pelle for the 3.
Yeah.
In the corner. That was beautiful ball movement.
It's tough. for anybody out there who hasn't played basketball, when you're dribbling by yourself up a court with nobody around, it's one thing. When you're dribbling up against single pressure is one thing. But when you're going up against a three-quarter court trap like that, the trap's trying to bring you to the sideline. They're trying to trap you as a third defender into that sideline. So if you ever catch the ball anywhere close to that sideline and there's a second help defender, they will auto-trap on a lot of those situations. And to create a flow, Doug said ugly. I've had this whole adage ever since Tommy Lloyd got here, is that you can't let Arizona free run to spots and find each other. That's 150 points is what they're going to score. So you have to make it as ugly as possible on this team. You have to limit their movement. You have to make sure that the passes are tough to get around. And obviously that's the key to any defense. That's the goal. I think the assist numbers and the turnover numbers are interlinked against a defense like that, because it's more rare to see a high assist number when you play against a team that's getting in the passing lane so much and making it so difficult. That being said, when you're running 5 guards up against a team with the amount of length and size that Arizona has, if you run the double a little early, that's like leaving a guy wide open, right? So you can definitely take advantage of that, just like running a full court press against a great ball handler.
All right, let's get another break in here. We'll come back. We'll get our best bets, find out if we're taking home any money tonight. We'll head back down to McHale Center and hear from the Wildcats after a 97-59 win over the Southern Jaguars. It's the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona game night. Game night. It is going to be game night. A lot of nights. Post-game show. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
This hour of the Meridian Wealth Management Postgame Show is brought to you by Humane Society of Southern Arizona, Lexus of Tucson, Nova Home Loans, Recon Auto Detail, Ride Now Power Sports Tucson, Tucson Police Department, Broadway in Tucson, Dave & Buster's Tucson, Dorado Rock, First Choice Pools, The Good Feet Store, Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, O'Reilly Chevrolet, Ram Plumbing, Restaurant Supply Store, Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, Rocking KA Master Plan Community Design by Nature, University Termite and Pest Control.
Plumbing. Always trust the big guy. Mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair at coolwillies.com.
Arizona men's basketball. Wildcats Radio 1290. Tucson, what happened with today's best bets? Did the Cats beat the spread? It's time to look at the best bets. Brought to you by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet.
All right, I think J-Dub is taking home all the money again.
I think we'll split it.
I don't think that's how it works. The Wildcats were favored by 31 points in this ball game tonight. And
we both said over.
I said that I was taking Southern in 31, so I lose there. J-Dub took Arizona and laid the 31.
And the logic there being that there's a lot of bench players like Paulius Morauskas, who has yet to play a college basketball game.
You said there.
Right.
And I forgot to write down the over. Was it 160? It was 164, was it?
Something like that.
Okay, and we landed on, so it was the under then. It was 156. Is that correct? If my math is correct?
Yeah.
156 was the play there, and I believe it was 164. I'll have to go back and look at the sheet again. But, so if we both took the over, then we...
163.5.
163.5, yep. So that would be a loss. See, I allowed you to talk me into that. I was going to take the under, and I think I allowed you to talk me into that.
I think we expected Southern to score more than 59 points is the thing.
Yeah. Thought they'd hit just a few more threes than they did. And they only made 6 out of 29.
Yeah, I mean, again, it was 19 all with about 5 minutes left in the first half, right? And they really just outside of the game opening up and then being down by 30 points, because at that point it's just kind of a free for all. It becomes a little bit more wide open, right?
Yeah.
But they just struggled. We all knew that they were going to struggle against this Arizona pressure defense. There was some really crazy shot making, is what I saw, right? Early. The left-handed guy. That's Joseph, right? That guy Joseph, lefty guy,
yeah,
is making some
Joseph.
crazy off-balance stuff.
Or Terrian Joseph, yeah.
Yeah, early. Crazy off-balance shot making, and there's really not a lot of defense you can do against that. It all evens out, but he was the only one, 22 out of the 59 points tonight for Southern.
Not bad. Yeah, he had a good night, but not anybody really else. All right, so we should probably keep track of this for the season. So you're right now. I think you've made 5 out of 6 correct. You correctly picked both of them the first 2 games, and you split tonight. So that would make you 5-1.
Sure.
I have missed the last. I went 2 and I think I'm 2-4 because I got it right, the points and the over under the first night, but I have missed it the last 2 games. So we'll kind of keep a running total and see how we do. I told you, basketball betting is not my thing.
Okay, for the record,
I can bet football, but I cannot bet basketball.
For the record, and I hope nobody who owns Sportsbet is listening to this, but basketball betting in college is nobody's thing, David Kelly. Like, basketball betting in college is, if you go into a Duke-Arizona game, I feel like that game was a little more predictable. I knew it was going to be under. I knew that the teams would struggle to score because of the emotion involved and because it's nationally televised. First game for a lot of those freshmen under the lights with the world watching and all those things. When you're a 31, 35-point favorite against a team, you could come out and prove a purpose, win by 60. You could also just kind of come out like they did these first 5-8 minutes and just go through the motions.
Yeah.
Right. And I feel like that's the only consistent thing I've experienced in my life watching college basketball is that it's unpredictable in games like this, where it's so hard to tell if the Cats are going to come out and just have a point to prove, or if they're happy with what they did Friday and they just want to get out of there with a win.
All right, 97-59. They did get out with a win, an impressive one in the second half for Arizona. Let's head back down to McHale Center and hear from Pelle Larsson and Philip Borovicinen. And I just right there heard something playing on ESPN. I'll tell you, you can't have any ESPN windows open.
They
here.
love to play stuff.
They just love to play stuff. Here we go.
All right.
How would you guys explain the difference in the second half? Mental adjustment, physical adjustment. What made the difference for you guys?
I mean, anytime in second half you get like a second chance to make a good start. So we just took advantage of that. We knew we didn't want to start like we wanted, so we got another chance at it and got it done.
You know, was any part of it coming off that big win Friday and the long flight, the emotion of that, and then having to settle into this, or was it a lot of what they were doing?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah,
for me, definitely not. Yeah. Do you guys feed off Kishad's energy? And if you do, explain.
No, 100%. Like, I mean, everyone has a lot of respect for him, and he plays really hard, so that it's gonna affect everyone on the team to do the same.
Who goes against him in practice?
I would say like Henry when he's not hurt, and then Morawska sometimes Bell as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that other guy's getting better because he has to match that.
Definitely, his energy like brings everyone on the floor and then helps whole team. Yeah.
What can either of you guys say about just how the depth has looked so far as being able to have, I think it's 19 different players scoring double figures so far in 3 games? Is that a surprising stat to hear?
Not surprising, just good to hear. Like, team success leads to individual success, and everyone has been working really hard. And in practice, we have a lot of guys having a good day any day. So it's just really good to hear.
Passes for assists. How do you think you've improved as a passer since you first arrived?
I mean, I feel like when I first came here, and I've struggled a lot with jump passes, and Coach Tommy started talking to me about jump stops, and I think that really helped me.
You guys went from 12 to 3. Any thoughts on just on the polls rankings?
We went to 12 from 3. I don't know.
Not a big deal, nice thing.
I don't think we're thinking about that at the moment. We're just thinking game by game to win every game, and that's pretty much it, yeah.
Yeah, we've only played, 3 games. So stuff like that usually doesn't matter until you get to the tournament, I think.
What's the key to being able to still draw a charge with the new block charge rules that are in place this year?
I mean, it's way different when you're off the ball. But, on the ball, it's still kind of the same thing, I feel like. And I don't think they're trying to take that out of the game. I think that's a good part of the game. So, and that's mostly what I do when I take a charge. It could be dangerous coming off the ball and trying to take a charge on someone. People are high up in the air, so I think it's a good thing.
But when you do take one, is there something you try to do to minimize the damage to yourself as you're getting knocked backwards?
No, I'm not too worried about myself. Just like if the other guy is, flying in, maybe he will land and get hurt. I don't want that. I'm never trying to hurt anyone. And, I just try to take it in the chest and, fall back on my ass.
Phil, what was your mentality this weekend and coming into this game? You didn't get in the game at Duke. Tommy said something like that, he just, he felt like he wanted you guys to get a little more reps or whatever to get there. And was that hard to sit through that? And then how did that affect you coming into today?
I mean, I was definitely really happy for our team to win the game. Also hard for me not to get in the game, but I'm just moving on, Game after game, I'm thinking of every single game to get better and to do as best as I can. Turn a spot in rotation, that's pretty much it, yeah.
I mean, is that kind of what you expected? It seems like you made a lot of progress this year, but obviously a lot of competition to get playing time on this team too.
I'm not thinking about that, honestly. I'm just thinking about being and doing as best as I can, and that's pretty much it.
How do you feel that Caleb's worked his way into this program? What's impressed you about him?
I think his effort, it keeps getting better and better. He was plus 39, plus minus. So that just shows that, he's playing harder and harder every game. And, great guy, mature guy. I didn't expect nothing else.
KJ said that you're like an older brother to him. How have you guided him throughout his time since he's been here so far? And what have you seen from him overall?
I mean, KJ could be like amazing defender. He's already a great defender, and he's been giving me troubles like in practice from time to time. So, he's an inspiration to me too. How hard he plays, and he's impressed everyone with how hard he plays, and he knocks down a couple shots. But it's hard for any freshman in college to kind of find your spot. So just tell him to keep working, and he's doing a great job.
Two more questions. Well, Pelle, since you've been around, if you guys went up to number 3 in the rankings, I know it may not mean much, but I didn't know if you feel like just the profile of winning that game and being highly ranked now might change anything as far as the way teams are going to come at you, for a while or anything like that?
Probably more of a motivation for other teams, maybe. So we'll just take that as a challenge, and we know that any team that wants to play us, wants to beat us real bad and wants to make headlines. But we got, we want to beat them as bad as they want to beat us. Like, we want to win every game, and we got big goals. So.
What was your guys' weekend like? I heard you came back late. Did you have a regular practice? Yesterday, today? Did it feel like you got back to normal, pretty much? Or?
I think we just came back, and then we had 1 day off, but still pretty much the same.
All right, Filip Borovicinen and Pelle Larsson after the ball game. Filip Borovicinen again finishing with 8 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists in the game, and Pelle Larsson after a slow start to the game finished 3 of 7 from the floor, 11 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists in a 97-59 win over Southern. Good to hear Pelle is like a big brother to KJ Lewis.
I mean, come on. Look at Pelle's always had that defensive tenacity, right?
Yeah.
So, if KJ is going to come in and look up to one dude. I have an answer, though, for the question about whether or not the stature of being ranked 3rd means anything to the team and or opponents. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
And Kelvin would be yelling this if you were here. But DK, everybody comes to Arizona so they get everybody's best shot. That's the whole point of going to one of the top 10 programs in America. You choose to go play for a school like the Arizona Wildcats because every single game, it doesn't matter what number's next to your name, you are the Arizona Wildcats. And when you have the 3 next to your name, it's even better. But this is a prestigious program. Every team that's not Kentucky, Duke, North Carolina, UCLA looks at this team and says, that's where we want our program to be. So it doesn't matter what the number is next to your name. You're going to get everybody's best shot every single. And my point being, that's why Pelle Larsson came here, transferred here from Utah. That's why a lot of these guys are here, because they want to get better. They want to be coached, and they want to see the best shot from opponents. And they're wearing that Arizona jersey, so they're going to get it.
That is true. You're absolutely correct. I mean, when you're a blue blood, everybody's looking to knock off the blue blood. I mean, every single school that is not a blue blood is looking to knock off a blue blood.
How do you make a name for yourself? You beat the person who already has the name.
Exactly. No question. 97-59. Arizona holds off Southern impressively in the second half to get the win, now 3-0. Belmont coming to town. Belmont's a good program. I mean, they're from Nashville. If you don't know a little bit about them, they have gone to NCAA tournaments routinely. So that is not going to be an easy ball game either. Coming up on Friday night, it'll be a 9 p.m. tip-off at McHale Center. Let's get another break in here. We will come back. We will hear from Tommy Lloyd, the head coach of the Arizona Wildcats, get his thoughts on this one tonight as the Wildcats win by 38 points over the Southern Jaguars. It's the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day postgame show with J.W. Madden. I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
This is the Meridian Wealth Management postgame show on the home of Arizona men's basketball. Wildcats Radio 1290. KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. We have the Arizona Wildcats covered on game day like no one else. We are Wildcats Radio 1290.
As a homeowner, you've probably seen some pretty bad plumbing problems.
Yeah, I've seen a few.
We've seen them all.
All of them?
Ram's Plumbing kept entire buildings flowing. Businesses since 1983.
Wow, so whatever happens to my house...
We've seen it before, and we have the solution. Locally owned and operated, Ram Plumbing is Tucson's most trusted plumber. Our team of licensed professionals can fix anything your home can dish out. When your plumbing's in trouble, call Ram on the double. Online at bestplumbertucson.com.
As Arizona's leading personal injury law firm for more than 30 years, Goldberg & Osborne agrees, bear down, Arizona. With offices statewide, including 5 in Tucson and Southern Arizona, the Eagle gives you home field advantage. More than 1,800 5-star Google reviews prove Goldberg & Osborne has the playbook for any situation. So after any accident, let the attorneys voted best personal injury law firm tackle that insurance company and get you the settlement you deserve. Goldberg & Osborne, 1-800-THE-EAGLE.
Do you often worry you left the garage door open? With a LiftMaster garage door opener powered by MyQ, you'll never worry again. You can control, secure, and monitor your garage from your smartphone anytime from anywhere through the MyQ app. As an authorized LiftMaster dealer, we have smart openers designed for your needs, including belt drive motors for ultra-quiet operation, integrated camera for live video streaming, and battery backup that lets you in when the power is out.
Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates is your authorized local LiftMaster dealer. Visit KaiserDoor.com for more information.
Continues on the home of Arizona men's basketball. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Wildcats win over Southern 97-59 to move to 3-0 on this young season. Belmont up next on Friday night. This game did not get off to the prettiest of starts for Arizona. Let's check out the first half highlights.
Caleb quickly down, bounce pass inside, back to Keyshawn Johnson, who slams it home. Out to Boswell, bounce pass to Johnson, Keyshawn down the for Larson. Pella, left-handed dribble into the paint, turns, throws it up. No, there's Krivas with the offensive rebound. Good, and he's fouled. Looking for the three-point play. Dribbles to the free throw line, out to Boswell. Boswell working his way down into the paint. Throw it inside, Ballo, slam it home with two hands. Borvichinen walks the dribble now. Stops, bounce pass Ballo wide of the lane, double teamed out to Borvichinen. Looked at the three, didn't take it, nice pump fake. No look, Keyshawn, slam it home. Second free throw missed, but the rebound tipped out to Love, and the Wildcats keep the possession. Boswell, three ball, straight away, it's good. Krivas the rebound, out to Love, lead down to Johnson, Keyshawn, slam it home. Jaden Bradley with the ball for the Wildcats. Feed it high right, it goes to Love, cross court over to Lewis. Looking inside, dump it off left corner, Bradley open for three, got it!
Jaden Bradley, that was his only basket of the night, that three near the end of the first half. Again, it was not necessarily pretty for the Wildcats. They shot just 38% in the first 20 minutes of this game. They turned it over 14 times, reminiscent of the New Mexico Highlands game. But Keyshawn Johnson had one heck of a first half.
Yeah.
5 of 6 from the floor, 15 points, a number of dunks, as you could hear right there. And it was interesting that one of the questions that was asked to the fellas after the game is if they feed off of his energy out there, because literally every time he dunks, he's hyping up the crowd out there. He's an exciting player to watch.
How do you stand shoulder to shoulder with somebody who's working towards the same goal as you, who brings that kind of electricity to it? Another stat, we talk about offense, DK. You mentioned the percentage in the first half, 37.5. You mentioned the turnovers, 14. How about this one? Arizona had 0 steals in the first half and 7 in the second half. So it wasn't just on the offensive end that they were, not necessarily filling up the stat sheet. Second half, just a much more focused, attentive group.
Let's hear the second half highlights. It started with a 26-7 run.
26 to shoot. Boswell will trigger the inbound. Gets it to Love, left corner, jumper for three. Good! And he's fouled. How about that? To the right wing. Looking for Larson. He'll throw it inside. Ballo open, lays it in. Wildcats up 45-28. Boswell inbounds. Out top, Love. Works it down, drives right. Skip pass. Boswell open, three ball, left corner. It's good. Ball stolen away by Love. Now the Wildcats on the run the other way. Love against Noel to the bucket, lay it in. Here's a drive by Joseph, knocked away. Ball loose, picked up by Love. Lead pass head to Larson, tip, saved by Lewis. KJ will lay it in. Morauskas back to Borvichinen in the right corner, looking for Krivas, who's being fronted right now. Borvichinen feeds it to Lewis, down the lane and slam it home.
KJ Lewis with that final dunk there. And again, 65% was the shooting percentage in the second half as things got a whole lot quicker and easier. J-Dub mentioned the 7 steals in the second half for Arizona, and they cruise, scoring 62 points after the intermission to win it 97-59.
I think it's pretty easy to get lost in this black and white thinking where you think, hey, they didn't play their best. They didn't win by big as much as I thought they should have as a fan. The other side of that coin, there's two main goals as a coach going into a season. Figure out what I've got or figure out what to do with what I have. And I think that the coaching staff for Arizona clearly understands how much talent, how much experience, how good this Arizona Wildcats team can be. They're not trying to figure out where the points are going to come from. They're not going to try to figure out who's going to be playing defense, who's going to be giving effort. They all are. The question is, what guys work well together? What kind of lineups do we want to run against a 2-3/4 court trap? Seeing different defenses like Southern throughout there tonight is only going to pay dividends down the road. When you have multiple styles that you have to play against and desperation, that's a team that came in here thinking this is going to be a program-changing win if they were to pull out somehow a upset being having a 31-point favorite on their own home court coming off that Duke win. I think from the coaching staff's perspective, it's all about the tape. It's all about what you see. But I think the lineups that we're seeing is really what they're trying to do. They're trying to figure out, you saw Philip Borovicin get a lot of playing time. You saw Moravsky get some time out there. Mixing in some of those guys in the rotation at the 8th, 7th, 8th, 9th spots currently could be higher up in the rotation as time goes on throughout the season. It's really just a matter of what groups of guys out there play well together, because eventually you're going to come up against a really deep, really strong team that you're going to need everybody to contribute, and which guys are going to come out and who do they play best with. I think that's more or less what the coaching staff is trying to figure out right now.
520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. Final chance to get in on this show. We're going to hear from the head coach. We'll give you your scoreboard and all of that before we get out of here. Let's find out what Tommy Lloyd thought of his team's performance, a 97-59 win over the Southern Jaguars.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think it was just we played a really good team. We played a really good team, and you go through these ebbs and flows of a season, and we're kind of learning our way just like everybody else. So, I mean, I tip my hat to Southern for the effort and energy they played with, and I thought defensively we were okay early. Offensively, we weren't great, and then we kind of settled in there a little bit, and luckily our defense was able to create a little bit of offense, and we settled in and kind of looked a little more sound in that second half. But I'm not going to try to pinpoint it on any one certain thing other than give our opponent a lot of credit.
Was there anything about their defense you felt was a key adjustment to sort of get through that?
Well, I mean, I think we kind of warmed out a little bit, and then I think our guys got a little more comfort with their physicality, and so we were able to maybe to pin some fouls on them, get some free throws and things of that nature. And and then I think we obviously did a better job getting the ball inside in the second half as well.
Keyshawn just has a knack for getting to the ball inside the basket, just has a feel for it.
Yeah, I mean, Key's a really good player, and he scores the ball pretty easy, and he's a lot of it's based on effort and energy, which is an incredible skill to have as a basketball player. He's got great effort and energy, and so it's a joy to coach him every day.
Something like that eventually rubbing off, or maybe does rub off on your guys?
Well, I mean, I think it is. I mean, I thought Caleb might have played his with the highest effort maybe he's ever played with in a college game today. I thought he was incredible. And maybe the shooting numbers or the don't show it, but I thought he really played extremely hard and pretty unselfish on the offensive end. So, I mean, I think it is rubbing off. You got him. Pella's always played hard. Kylan has the potential to play hard, and is learning how to play harder. Jaden plays hard. KJ plays extremely hard. I mean, I think that core group of guys is a high effort group, and I do definitely think it is infectious. And what it does, it establishes a standard. This is a standard with which we play, and other guys got to get themselves to that standard.
Philip made some contributions in the lineup tonight. How do you think games like this will help their development down the line?
Well, I think it's really going to help them. These European guys, there's a little bit of adjustment. Playing in a game like this, where the team's extremely quick and aggressive to the ball. Maybe they haven't played against that much, and so and just the nuances of our game are a little different than theirs. Whether it's lane violations or how they referee the post or how they referee when you get a rebound, and so they have to learn those, because that was a really good officiating crew out there today. I mean, that's a couple of those guys are Final Four championship game level officials, and so our guys need to make the adjustment on that, and especially those international guys that don't have much experience playing at this level.
What's Caleb's progression been like, and what's impressed you throughout that process from when he got here to now?
I mean, just his willingness to learn, and listen, these seasons are marathons, and I don't think Caleb is going to accomplish his goals at Arizona in the first handful of games, and so we're building, and definitely, I'm getting more comfortable coaching him. He's getting more comfortable playing for us, and he and I had a great meeting today, and I got nothing but positive things to say, and how he's contributing to this program.
Caleb was the only starter that didn't get to double figures in this game, but you've had 19 of those through the first 3 games. Is this what you were kind of envisioning when it came to the depth as far as being balanced?
I mean, listen, I always like being balanced, and you know, I mean, I don't really, I mean, I don't get it. I mean, of course, you look at some individual stats because they tell a little bit of parts of a story, but the main one is I look at our team stats, and I want to know how many points it says under Arizona, and then I try to figure out how are we getting those points. So, you know, I don't really care who they come from or how we get them, but you know, I mean, we're a passing program. We're an attack the paint program, and we're a pressure defensive program. I mean, those 3 principles are things we hang our hat on.
You feel this way about a number of guys, but do you think he in particular, you know, when you have that big game on Friday, you come here, he's coming out like that? Is that something you think he can sustain all year and maybe that consistent guy?
I mean, Key's been really consistent for me. And so, yeah, I mean, I don't think, I mean, Key played the national championship game last year, and he played a lot of great games at San Diego State. So I don't think Key's feels like we've arrived. He's mature enough and understands that there's a bigger picture that we're playing for and preparing for.
Are you able to comment on a little bit more on the guys that were signed last week? I know that you put out a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you tell me what you want.
Just in general, I think you'd only signed 1 guy in November each of the first 2 years, but you're able to get 3. Was that a determined effort, or did it just happen?
Well, I mean, for my deal, it's always, you know, signing early is, you know, it's not something you take lightly, and you know, you put a lot of effort and energy into recruiting guys to sign early. You know, there's probably a pretty extensive process behind the scenes to get a kid to sign early. I just think, you know, we're settled into the program now. We're in our 3rd year. We've had a chance to get through full recruiting cycles, and people, we have proof of concept in how we play. We know the kind of players we think will help make us successful here. So I think it's just it's kind of a collision of all those things. And then just, you know, there's some good players in our region that made a lot of sense to play at Arizona. And, you know, Carter, Jamari, and Big E, you know, I'm really excited about those guys. I think they got great potential here in this program. You know, I can't wait to get them here and help them, you know, grow as basketball players and grow as people and help them through the struggle that comes with adjusting to playing at this level.
It looked like the team was playing with a lot more poise in the second half, turning the ball over a lot less. What do you think went into that?
Well, I mean, we had high turnovers all night. I mean, they're a really handsy team, and you know, at some point, you know, you can't be surprised that they're going to try to take the ball from you. So if you have an advantage, you got to find a way to secure the ball and deliver. And that's just something we have to learn. And, you know, in the Duke game, a lot of our turnovers were caused by just kind of getting stripped from the ball. And so, you know, our ball security's got to tighten up a little bit.
You played all reserve guys out, I think, the last 11 minutes. Anything you got out of that, especially after a couple of them?
I mean, yeah, they're good players. And listen, I honestly believe we're only going to be as good as our 8th, 9th, or basically our 9th, 10th, and 11th players are going to make us. And they're good players, and they deserve an opportunity, and we have a great culture. And I think our top 8 guys are willing to sacrifice a few of their minutes and stats for those guys to get experience because they practice against them every day and they know how hard they're working. They know how much basketball means to them. So they need to get some reps. And so to be able to give them an extended run like that, you know, maybe they're not used to playing that long, so fatigue becomes a factor. And so it's maybe not totally fair to judge the whole 10-minute run, but all in all, I'm glad we were able to do it.
You talk about that. Paulie is making that adjustment from 3 to 4 as well as freshman. How's that going?
I mean, it's, you know, it's obviously a work in progress, but I expected it to be. And I mean, I just know how long it takes the freshmen from Europe to make that adjustment. And you know, we gotta hang with them. And then the biggest thing is they gotta hang with us and trust us that we have experience in this area, and we're gonna help get them there in a safe, efficient way.
What do you make of Jaden Bradley's play so far this season?
Jaden's a good player. You know, I think Jaden is going to make a big jump. I think Jaden's got a lot of little things he's going to be able to improve on in these next couple weeks. That I'm excited about, and I think it's going to kind of help bump us up another notch. And you know, Jaden's one of those guys. He's a team player through and through. So he sacrifices a lot of maybe some individual things he could do for the team. And now he's got to find a little bit of a balance of maybe doing some things, you know, for himself, to kind of get that confidence maybe that he'll need to deliver. But I love having him on our team. I feel 100% comfortable when he's on the court.
Do you expect the budget crisis to affect your program at all?
Hope not. I didn't come here to be part of no budget crisis, so I hope not. Nothing I'm going to share with you. So, all right.
All right, that's the head coach of your Arizona Wildcats, Tommy Lloyd. I didn't come here to be a part of no budget crisis.
I mean, yeah, you would expect part of the reasoning. We all know that he wasn't going to leave, right? He was offered many times up there in Spokane and came here purposefully to win as much as possible. So yeah, if I could go back really quick to what he said about Mr. Jaden Bradley. I love Jaden Bradley's attentiveness to defensive pressure, his on-ball defense, his ball handling, all those things. I think if I may infer into what Coach is saying right there in the next few weeks of learning, Jaden Bradley is that guy on this team because there's so many offensive players who can do their own thing. Caleb Love, is going to demand a lot of defensive attention. Colin Boswell is going to demand a lot of defensive attention. Straight line drives are one thing. Obviously, all the bigs are going to do their thing. Jaden Bradley, as he did in Duke, you remember the one time he took Drew dribbles from the left-hand side and kissed it off the glass, hit a couple of times and went in. That was a big shot that he made. That was his only real drive that I've seen against defensive pressure that he scored. If he could just drive the closeout, because he's the forgotten guy if he's out on the court with those other aforementioned players, DK. Like, if he could just drive those closeouts and be a threat to score every single time, this offense becomes a nightmare for people to defend. If Jaden Bradley can effectively score when Kylan Boswell and Caleb Love are doing their thing on the perimeter, and he's the guy who gets the ball swing to him, either hit open shots, obviously 1 for 5 tonight, 1 for 1 from 3, but just driving and getting even to the rim or whatever. I just think that the confidence of his individual ability outside of that team philosophy, as Coach said right there, he's clearly a team first, sacrifice, do whatever it takes to win. There's a little selfishness at times. It's the key is knowing when you have to just say, call your own number, because that's what the defense is giving your team. And then the whole offense just thrives as an end result.
And the thing I liked that came out of that, and I think it was Brian Peterson brought this up, 19 instances of players scoring in double figures this season. And through 3 games, they have 7 players who are averaging 10 or more points a game. And Motias Krivas is right there at 9. So you could almost say they've got 8 players in that rotation who are scoring 10 points per game this season.
It's easy to stop a team that has one guy who's killing you.
Right.
Because sometimes just let him do that, and the other 4 guys don't get anything. When you have 5 threats on the court, regardless of who's in the game from the bench or otherwise, that's an impossible offense to start, and especially if you're playing with purpose, crisp passing, taking care of the ball, no silly turnovers. We've seen the numbers through 2 years under Coach Lloyd's system, 20-plus assists every game, close to 80, 90 points every game. When you have tough finishers like they do this year, and everybody's willing passers and sharing the ball, I mean, I don't know what this team will end up averaging at the end of the season, but I know that teams are going to have a hard time when those the secondary guys who aren't the focus of defenses, like Jaden Bradley, like I just said, when they become confident in their ability to score off ball when they're not getting so much defensive attention, then it's just impossible. You cannot guard a team that has willing passers and scorers at every position.
4 players averaging at least 3 assists per ball game this season, and 8 averaging 2 or more assists per ball game.
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
Balance.
What did you think of his comments about how he thought that this might have been the best game in terms of effort in Caleb Love's career?
Yeah, well, I think what you look at is that may just be a nod to the fact that he took, 6 shots?
Mm-hmm.
So Caleb Love in tonight's game, 6 shots. He also finished with 6
9 points, 6 rebounds.
6 rebounds and 5 assists and 2 steals.
Yep.
So 6 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 steals, only taking 6 field goal attempts, coming in with that reputation as being a guy who's trying to make things happen on his own. I think what ended up I didn't watch a ton of Tar Heels games last year. I did a couple of years back. It feels like when you get up to those 28, 30 attempts, that's when you're just giving up on your teammates' ability to put the ball in the basket. I'm going to do it myself because nobody else can. That's when you start seeing 28, 30. 6 shot attempts. If nothing else has been proven this season, it's that Caleb Love knows he's playing. Now, Armando Bacot's a very good player. He played North Carolina with him. There's a lot of really good players in North Carolina. I'm just talking about the way Caleb Love was at late game situations pressing. I got to get the ball up because our team was the number 1 team in the nation coming into the season. We might not make the NCAA tournament, that kind of stuff. This year, I'm just seeing a guy who's just out there to play team basketball and late shot clock, or if you really need it, offense bogs down, I can go get a couple of buckets myself. But he's not looking to do that.
It's interesting how this is all going to play out as we move forward. There's a lot of guys. Again, and that was one of the things we talked about at the beginning of the season, how deep this team could go. And the numbers through 3 games are starting to lay that out. When you look at the scoring, the balance, and the energy that they're playing with at the defensive end of the floor.
The first thought I had when I saw Umar Ballo among the favorites, if not the favorite to win the Conference Player of the Year, was just that. I just thought to myself, well, that's great, but how does he average 18 and 12 with this
team,
roster around him and the unselfishness of it? It's going to be whoever's open is going to get the shot up. And some nights that's going to be Umar Ballo. They needed the inside presence. That second half, they established Ballo quite a bit down low because they're playing against an undersized team to establish dominance in the paint. Other nights, it's going to be bigger teams, maybe Purdue, where the guards initiate offense by getting in the lane off the dribble. So it's going to be a different guy every single night. I love balanced teams with killers at spots that can go get it themselves if they have to, but they're really not trying to. They're trying to set up their teammates. It's just the best combination.
Has anybody scored 20 yet in a game?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
No.
Yeah. That might be an interesting question of the day for tomorrow. Who will be the first to score 20 points in a game? You had 18 from Kylan in the opener, and I think that might have been the high so far this season.
Well, I mean, Morauskas gets 10 rebounds in 15 minutes. So, I mean, I wouldn't put it past him getting 20 points in 18 minutes next time he's up.
Paulius Morauskas. Gotta love that. Let's take a look at your scoreboard for tonight, and it's a short one.
The Pac-12 scoreboard is brought to you by Mesquite Valley Growers. Mesquite Valley Growers. Real growers, real experience, real nursery.
Only one other game in the Pac-12 conference tonight. California rebounds off their loss to Pacific over the weekend, and they beat Cal State Bakersfield 83-63. Jalen Tyson for the Golden Bears. A nice night. 13 points, 12 rebounds, and 7 assists with a 6'7" junior guard out of Plano, Texas. So good night for Jalen. Top 25. Take a look at that real quick here for you. Miami, number 12, beats Florida International. That was a tight game, 86-80. How about this upset in the Big 5 Classic tonight in Philly?
Right.
Pennsylvania knocks off number 21 Villanova, 76-72.
Now, I'm not old enough, and you might not be old enough, but I'm sure our parents and our grandparents, I'm sure you heard a lot of stories, but that used to be those 5 schools, right?
Yeah.
That used to be the spot for basketball.
Oh, I know.
I
have family there.
I heard, yeah, well, of course you do. Yeah, I heard so many stories back in the day. LaSalle, right?
Can you name the 5?
Let's see. Penn, Villanova, LaSalle, and the other 2.
John Chaney.
Temple.
And, God, who was the guard that played at this other school? They had a really good guard about 15 or 20 years ago. St. Joseph.
St. Joe's, yeah.
Who's the guard?
Delonte West was not the guard you're talking about, but he was in the same backcourt as the guard you're talking about, and I can't blank on his name. But, yeah, they were undefeated going into the NCAA tournament that year. St. Joe's, I know St. Joe's for sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's a pretty talented group of schools there in Philadelphia. Number 6, Houston beats Stetson tonight. Easy. It was Arkansas over Old Dominion, 86-77. And Sean Miller's team played tonight, but they did not win, as Sean Miller and Xavier go to number 2 Purdue and lose 83-71 in the Gavitt tip-off games.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough place to win this year. I mean, that's a team that was the number 1 seed going in the tournament last year, right? And lost to a 16. Isn't that Purdue from last season?
Oh, yeah.
So I know Edey, was the player of the year in college basketball last year, 7'4". He came back apparently a little slimmed down, but I would assume that group is a team on a mission after the way their season ended last year.
Zach Edey, 28 points and 11 rebounds tonight. Hit 10 of 11 from the line.
Big boy.
Yeah, he's pretty good. Who led Sean Miller's group tonight? Looks like it was their guard, Desmond Cloud, had 15 points tonight and 6 assists for Xavier as they lose their first game of the season. They won their first 2. They're 2-1, and Purdue, like Arizona, is 3-0, with that being one of the Wildcats' opponents on the horizon.
Yep.
Any final thoughts on this one, J-Dub?
I think your last key today is the most important. Everybody came away healthy. Hopefully Pella's chin's okay after taking that elbow. Good film. I think mixing in some of the players who didn't get into the game in Durham is a big plus, because moving forward, you're going to want to see some of those guys be able to look and self-critique what maybe it is what they've been talking about in practice, but here it is actually in a game. So there's nothing but positives to come out of a game like this. I also love the chippiness and the handsiness of the Southern Jaguars team, because, again, anytime you can go into any game this season where you're a 30-plus point favorite and take something away because the other team brought something you might not have seen or brought an attitude that challenged you to be able to, dig deep and find, that's always a plus. So the final score is not indicative of exactly how that game went down. There was a bit of a struggle there to get in rhythm. So, yeah, I think it's all positive.
Yeah, we talked a lot about their guards coming in, but fine ball game for Brente Noel, one of their forwards. Hit four shots for 10 points and grabbed 5 rebounds to go along with 2 assists and 3 steals for Brente Noel. So not a bad night for that young man. But it was a 97-59 win for the Arizona Wildcats. Next up is Belmont. That'll be on Friday night. In fact, there'll be a Sunday. I completely forgot we had a game on Sunday. But yes, there are games this week. The women played Friday, Sunday. Last week, the men play Friday, Sunday. This week, we will have Belmont on Friday night and UT Arlington on Sunday. Our coverage will begin at 5 o'clock on Friday, and it looks like we will be, because it is Friday and there's a home game, we will be Bear Down Fridaying that pregame show from Illegal Pete. So stay tuned for that, but we pretty much will probably be doing that from 5 to 8 o'clock. And so we actually get to see the parade live. For once,
that could be a pretty nutty, because normally it's 3 to 6 is one thing, but right around the time we start signing off down there is right when it starts getting real loud. And so I mean, I think the 3 to 5 might be great, but the 5 to 8 you might get a little bit more noise pollution coming in from the other sides.
So Arizona women's basketball will play tomorrow night, and we will have that game right here on Wildcats Radio 1290. In fact, we will take DK on the Sports Tep an extra 20 minutes to 6:20 tomorrow, and that's when coverage with Derek Palmer will commence. The ladies will take on San Diego, the University of San Diego.
Ferreros.
That'll be a 6:30 tip-off, and the ladies are also 3-0 on the season. And we did not mention this on the pregame show, or did we? When we talked about the ladies, that Brea Cunningham made all 4 of her shots. We did talk about this. Brea Cunningham made all 4 of her shots in that game, so she has now raised her numbers to 19 of 21 on the season from the field. And
it's pretty good.
Kaylin Gilbert is averaging close to 9 rebounds per ball game in the first 3 games.
How many steals a game is Selena Puello averaging? Because she had 7 last time.
She had 7, but I don't think that's her career high. I don't think she'd had a high number through the first 3 games. But we can tell you that tomorrow.
At least 2 1/2, 2 1/3.
2 1/3. There you go. She's a defensive player. But the question will be, can she take the 15 shots per game that Hadia has asked her to take? That would be the thing to watch.
I would do what Hadia Barnes told me to do.
I think so. She's pretty smart. Pretty smart coach. All right, that's going to wrap it up for us. Thanks to all the folks that were a part of this program here tonight. Thanks to Jesus for hanging in with AJ as well on the boards tonight. Nate Rady on the coaches show earlier. I believe we also had Dusty on the FM side tonight. Thanks to all those folks. Most of all, however, thanks to you for listening. Again, your final score tonight in front of 12,868 at McHale Center. The Wildcats, number 3 in the country, 97. The Southern Jaguars, 59. For JW Madden, Kelvin Ifan, I'm David Kelly. Have a great night, everybody. We will talk to you tomorrow. And as always, can we, JW, cue up the music? I forgot. I want to play that song.
That one song that we play
every time we win.
That's right.
Let's end with that. We want to end with the song
whenever
from the 1980s, because those were my years in college, and I want to go back and reminisce about when I was young.
That was my childhood. I remember it. All right. It's just a matter of me.
Our guy. Oh gosh, see, I'm blanking on names already.
Which one?
The producer. Harvey Mason.
Harvey Mason.
Our guy, Harvey Mason, one-time player, big-time music producer.
That team.
Put that together.
That team.
As a college student.
Has so many famous people came out of that team. It's just obnoxious.
Isn't that nutty?
Kenny Lofton was
Isn't
on that
team.
Nutty? Yeah, just unreal. All right,
and we have another we'll give another shout-out tomorrow. Another U of A grad who has ascended to a great thing in broadcasting. We'll talk about it, and we may actually have him on the show tomorrow. We'll talk about that tomorrow. Cue the music, J-Dub, DJ J-Dub. Have a great night, everybody.
W-I-L-D, Cats. W-I-L-D, Wildcats. W-I-L-D, Cats. We're wild about the Cats.
First, they all were skeptics. They used to put us down.
But Tucson, Arizona is a basketball town.
The other guys, they talk a lot. They said their teams got class.
But it seems to get real quiet once they've had to play the Cats. Oh!
We're the Cats, we play out west.
And we're working hard to be our best. Ask anyone and you will find we don't do drugs and wrecks your mind.
W-I-L-D, Cats. W-I-L-D, Wildcats. W-I-L-D, Cats. We're wild about the Cats.
When Craig McMillan is in the game, he makes the offense flow.
I'm gonna find the open man and get the ball down low.
And Cook Gasol plays the game like only Sam can do. Give me the ball and stand back and watch me jam for 2.
Elliott's here, it's time to play.
They want me in the NBA. When Tolbert plays, he plays to win.
I put it up and it goes in. Huh. Give Kerr the ball, give Kerr a hand.
I'll drill it in from three-point land.
Ask the Gumbies, ask the refs.
We don't do drugs cause we're the best. W-I-L-D, Cats. W-I-L-D, Wildcats.
This hour of the Meridian Wealth Management Postgame Show is brought to you by You Made